Welcome back to Is It Still Fun Today, our show where we revisit classic games in order to answer the question, is it still fun today? I'm Damon Hatfield. Joining me today from GameScoop are Nick Lamone and Sam Claiborne. And
hey, it's good to be here.
The host of Nintendo Voice Chat, Logan Plant, joins us as well.
Hey guys.
And we've got a really good one for you today. Well, I guess that's what we're about to find out. As we continue to celebrate IGN's 30th anniversary, we're revisiting games that were released the same year IGN was founded, 1996. A few weeks ago, we did the original Resident Evil. Check that episode out if you haven't yet. And today, I gotta believe, we are replaying the cartoonish wrap-em-up Parappa the Rapper, released in 1996 in Japan by Sony Computer Entertainment and developed by On-Sha, a studio that is apparently still in business but hasn't released anything I'm aware of in 10 years. Parappa is the first true rhythm video game, setting the template of timing button presses along with symbols that drift across the screen that would be used in everything from Konami's Bomani series, Dance Dance Revolution, and of course, Guitar Hero and Rock Band. It also has a distinct visual style with humanoid animal characters that appear to be flat sheets of paper. One wonders if Nintendo got any ideas for Paper Mario. It was tricky for PlayStation to market the game because it wasn't really like anything that had come before, but Parappa was a big hit, particularly in Japan.
Sumimasen. Rhythm can arimasu ka? リズムのゲームなんてあったっけ? パラッパラッパ。お楽しみに。PlayStation.
And the character became somewhat of a mascot for PlayStation and would appear in PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. So I had Parappa the Rapper. I loved it, but it's been probably 30 years since I played it. Nick, how about you?
If you could believe it or not, I've only played the first level of the game for probably hours and hours because packed with my PlayStation back in whenever
everybody
I got
owned Parappa.
Yeah, it was included as part of a PlayStation Interactive Sampler CD, a demo disc. Volume 4. It was a purple disc, and I just remember playing through everything in there. They had Armored Core, they had Croc, Legend of the Gabbo.
Was IQ on there? Intelligent
IQ
Cube?
was on there, yes. And
Tomb Raider had a silly tiny little level on it, right?
Yeah, Tomb Raider 2, I believe. And I remember it scared me because it was very claustrophobic. But I really gravitated towards Parappa the Rapper as, you know, a 90s kid who grew up with Saturday morning anime. I was like, this is reminding me a lot of like Pokemon and Dragon Ball in a way I don't really understand. Like I didn't understand the idea of, you know, Japan as a
especially
as
Dragon
a country.
Ball because vegetables and that one level that's on that one demo disc.
But yes, there is this level of like, there's a through line in a lot of Japanese media in the early 90s where it was like, why are all these things kind of related in a way that I don't understand? So it was kind of coming to realization of that. And I think still to this day, I could probably rap every single part of Master Onion's song because it's just so ingrained in me.
It's all in the mind.
Kick punch, it's all in the mind. Yeah, so that's all I've done with Parappa the Rapper, but I have since like I've played Jammer Lammy and like Guitaru Man and things of that nature, but I've never actually gone and played through the Parappa the Rapper games.
Do you guys remember they did a game like this for the Wii that was about a marching band?
What?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. My sister had that when we were growing up. Yeah, that game, what was it called?
I'll be showing the B-roll now, but I can't remember the name. But yeah, they did a game like that for the Wii. All right, Sam, have you played Parappa the Rapper before?
Clearly, I've never heard of this game. I spent this whole week playing Crash Bandicoot because I thought we were doing Crash. No, yeah, I've played Parappa, and that demo disc was a formative memory of mine as well. I'm a huge Jammer Lammy fan. That's where I think the series really found me. But I need to play this to refresh my memory because I really don't remember a lot of the instances of what happens. I do remember it being annoying. I don't think their rhythm sections were that good. And
that's the whole thing.
To kind of like, I know. But there's like what you have to do is you have to like really learn the songs. And once you know the songs, you're much better at it than just watching the visuals. And I'm a little bit like now that I know that, I think I'll enjoy it more. But I remember at the time just not it being hard. Like I just remember being hard. Whereas like Guitar Hero came out right after, and DDR was kind of ever present at the time, and there was all these like Rock Band and stuff like that. Like all those games like kind of made me probably better at this type of game. So like I also think like, you know, because this is I can't think of another beat rhythm game that I played before this. Yeah. So yeah, I have memories of it being really funny and really cute and really accessible and ubiquitous because of that disc. And by the way, you know, getting AOL in every home on a disc and getting Parappa the Rapper in every home on a disc was like before we had social media, before we had a connected world. That was the only way to do it, and it certainly worked because I think a lot of people know what this game is. Yeah, it's cute, and I think it's difficult. That's my memories of it.
All right, well, Logan, I like that we're having the Nintendo guy on a PlayStation episode, and you've never played Parappa, right?
Never played it. No, very excited to. I love rhythm games. I love like Guitar Hero 3 is one of my favorite games of all time.
Nice.
That game's just amazing. Rhythm Heaven, Elite Beat Agents. Like there's so many great rhythm games. And so I'm excited to play the first one ever, apparently. I think that's really cool.
And you're telling me that for 10 years they've been working on a Parappa sequel? It's going to be massive. Open world, climb everything.
Yep.
Rap game.
All right. Well, we were off to play Parappa the Rapper. IGN gave it a 9 out of 10. EGM gave it an average 8.25 out of 10. So it was very well received at the time. It is time for us to find out, is Parappa the Rapper still fun today?
Kick, punch, it's all in the mind. If you wanna test me, I'm sure you'll find the things I'll teach ya. Sure to beat ya. Nevertheless, you'll get a lesson from teacher. Now kick,
Kick, kick, kick,
punch,
punch, punch, punch.
chop,
Chop, chop, chop.
block. Once more now.
And we're back. We have played Parappa the Rapper. We've rapped along. Nick and I played it. Well, the closest thing to actual PlayStation hardware, right? Do you want to explain how we played it?
Yeah, I was playing on a Mr. FPGA, which is emulating hardware stuff, and that was plugged into a RetroTink 4K. So we have 240i being upscaled to 4K 60. Really, really pretty, and I like to capture with some CRT scan lines,
Sure.
courtesy of the RetroTink 4K.
And this is through a PlayStation.
Correct.
That you hooked up a PlayStation to this.
Yeah.
PlayStation
That is
1.
correct.
Not like a 3 running a PlayStation 1 disc or anything.
Right.
Yeah. It is available today on PS4, which I believe is the way that Sam and Logan played it. But this version, unfortunately, has some latency issues. Is that right?
It
Yeah, it was
certainly
brutal,
do.
man.
Well, it's too bad. I think that's a polished up version of the PSP remaster, which was put out in 2006 for the games.
Which we gave a bad score to, right?
Yeah, that was the one I think that we looked at in GameScoop. Chris Roper gave it a 5.4 or something like that. Because the original is beloved. So it's a little unfortunate that there's no good, easy way to play it on modern hardware. However, we revisited it on original hardware. Is it still fun today? Well, it's charming. It's definitely charming.
Certainly charming.
I love
It's 10 out of 10 charming.
I love everything except playing.
Looking at it, listening to it, yeah. But I mean,
listening to it especially.
yeah. So it's got loads of personality and style. The songs are good. It's the kind of weird game that could only come out of Japan, but it's still kind of amazing, I think, that it was greenlit, at least for Western audiences. So like most video games are like another game that came before it, right? New Game B is like Game A, and the publisher hopes that people who like Game A will buy Game B. Parappa is not like any other video game that came before it at the time. Even so much, Tyler, do you have this Next Generation magazine available here? Next Generation was trying to describe Parappa the Rapper to its readers at the time by likening it to Simon, like the electronic game Simon.
Oh, okay. I could
But
see
you're
that.
not memorizing stuff. You are hitting buttons.
Yeah, you are hitting, but yeah.
You're repeating after it's given. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
good.
I mean, I guess you do memorize it in short term.
Yeah.
It shows it, then you repeat it. Then it shows it. Yeah, it is like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it says on the cover, Parappa the Rapper, yes, it's another one of those quirky Japanese games. Yep, it is that. It is that for sure.
I wish we could say that today because now we don't get to say that very often.
I know.
We say, wow, another rare, quirky Japanese game we get to play here.
Well, what I think Sony saw in it at the time is it's, there's all this weird animation coming out in the 90s. Ren and Stimpy, Beavis and Butthead, and Aeon Flux. So it's like, it's weird, weirdo animation that doesn't really make any sense, but is very amusing, even to adults, right?
Well, that
And it has potty humor, too.
It does have potty humor, yeah.
a lot of potty
Level
humor.
about it.
Yeah.
I also think that the CD format at the time, compared to something like the N64 that was cartridge based, the CD format was much cheaper to manufacture. So I think I don't believe this was a full cost game. I got to fact check that, but I believe it was a much cheaper game. Granted, I think it was like $49.99 or $39.99, so still kind of pricey. But regardless, it wasn't like a full priced piece of software, which I really appreciate the experimental nature of it. But then again, if I was a kid and I got this, maybe an hour of playtime
yeah.
I probably would have been a little bit sad.
If you just play, there's 6 levels, 6 songs. You know, each song is 3 to 4 minutes. So there's just, even if you play through the whole thing perfectly, it's only like a 30-minute game.
And you will spend hours upon hours just repeating at least one stage where you're like, what did I do wrong?
Which one was it, Nick?
The chicken stage.
For me, it was the
that
chicken
stage was
stage,
brutal.
level 4. Yeah.
I'd see. I'd.
Every single day, stress comes in every way. I ain't got no time for nobody. My style is rich, dope, fat, and rich. We'll make a cake today that looks rich. Crack, crack, crack the egg into the bowl.
Crack, 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 egg into the bowl.
M-I-X the flour into the bowl.
M-I-X, the flour into the bowl.
That one didn't give me much trouble. It's the one after that where you have to go to the bathroom and you have to revisit all of the masters that you've gone up to at this point. I don't know. It just like.
I need to go just as bad as you. What I had this morning, I don't even wanna say to you. Kick, punch, turn, and chop the door.
Kick, punch, turn, and chop the door.
The game just hit a brick wall for me at that point. It just seemed like to not work anymore.
Well, that's the thing that I had a hard time trying to figure out. I was like, I know I have rhythm. I know how to dance. I can sing. I can do all these things. I've played Guitar Hero, done all these things. But I think one thing that's interesting to go back and reflect on is this being the first rhythm game, right? Where the thing that you take for granted in modern rhythm games is that you get to see the thing play out, and the timing window to begin playing is usually a little bit more forgivable.
More than the smallest part of the screen is
it's the smallest thing, and immediately your little Parappa the Rapper rhythm indicator will leave the screen after the teacher says, and it enters the screen right at the start. You have to hit the key right. It doesn't give you any indication that you're gonna hit this button first. You know, it just kind of. Here you go, have fun. And the rhythm on it is completely wrong. You don't actually, I don't think I ever had success like in the later stages hitting the button when the game told me to. I always had to hit it like at a different pace. And sometimes like the chicken level, for example, I just needed to mash the L and R buttons after every single verse in order to get my bad up to good. I was like, this doesn't sound good at all. But
you had that on the like close to original hardware too, because I didn't know if that was just kind of the janky PS4 version that Sam and I played, because I actually found more success, and this is like a bad indictment for a rhythm game, muting the sound and just looking at the symbols.
I should have tried that.
Playing to that, and then I passed every level on my first try doing it that way, which is a shame because the music's awesome, but it's just totally out of whack.
If you look up the suggestion, it's just do the opposite of what you did, which is to ignore the visuals and just really feel the music. I'm like, that's actually really cool if that were true. And then that would add to the idea of like, you know, the game wants you to learn the songs, and it wants you to feel the kind of the hip hop vibes of each song and how they're different. And then and if that as a goal is so much cooler, I think, than the idea of like Guitar Hero, which is like click the buttons exactly right. That's cool. They just didn't pull that off, but that's still fine. Because like I don't hate this game. It's just it's not much of a game because it didn't do either of those. It's like in between them for some reason. And so there's a through line that there's a quick story here where the PSP game was famous for breaking things and being out of sync. And if you look up the conversation from that time and what it stretched out to through the port, is that one is the PSP version ported to the PlayStation console, and then it's still broken. That's the still broken storyline. Now, what Nick is just telling you though is that it already had a problem with that chicken stage, and I think that was known at the time too. I remember that being a thing. So then there was a previous story which was, they didn't fix that stuff when they ported it to PSP. They made it worse. Then they didn't touch it when they put it in PlayStation. So like. Man, and then Parappa 2 actually got a emulation port, so it doesn't have that issue. But that's all to say, like, Parappa's been done dirty. And like there needs to be like somebody should do a mod fanfics. Just like do one or the other. Like make it like lenient and let you rap a little bit and listen to it, or make it like, right to the beat perfectly for the button pressing. That's my TED Talk. Yeah. I don't know why that latency issue hasn't been solved on the PS4 version. Maybe it needs to be handled by On-Sha, the original developer, and
like I mentioned before, they appear to be in business but haven't put anything out in a long time.
To Sam's point, one thing I believe I was going down a rabbit hole of researching why the games are the way they are in terms of how they play. And as Sam said, the PS4 release of Parappa the Rapper is a port of the PSP version, of course, but it's also emulating the PSP on the PS4. So there's like an added layer of latency there too, I assume. So it's very interesting, and I believe a bunch of people like decompiled it and discovered, oh yeah, this is just the PSP port being emulated. So that's super fascinating. And again, to Sam's point, it seems like every single level is just, the rules are a little bit different this time. Maybe that you press the button a little bit later. Maybe you press it a little bit sooner. Maybe you.
That's why I don't call it latency. It's desynced.
Yeah,
it has some kind of syncing problem that maybe is original or something, or maybe they even pushed it around. Whoa, do we lose Damon?
Well, we lost the camera. There, I'm back.
Hey, they might have. Never had this synced properly, but they might have also desynced it to give it a little bit more. This is the argument that people say about Resident Evil. Well, they lock the camera and do it that way so you can't turn around easy because it makes it scarier. Like, it is possible in theory that they would push things around a little bit so you had to feel it a little bit. But boy, add latency and a level of emulation and like all this other stuff, and like that's where it doesn't work. But I think, again, like getting back to the idea of like, did they try to make something unique, and then were they trying this the first time that wasn't supposed to be just a button tapper? That's cool. Like Rhythm Heaven is a button tapper, right? Like it's totally accurate.
Well, they were so close though, because like obviously this is the first step of like, let's try a rhythm game. But then, to varying degree, I think the game is super charming and I like everything else around it. But Jammer Lammy is so much better, and that would be their follow up to this. Game. So it's like, oh, they were so close. They just need a little more time.
I mean, they were the first ones to do this. This sort of like rhythm game, which is why it's interesting. There's no tutorial inside the game.
Nope.
It just throws you into the first song, and you kind of have to figure it out.
Yeah. The Onion Man kind of explains the tutorial.
Yeah, in his lyrics, which is interesting, that you just need to listen along. I feel that way with the driver's ed one too.
Yeah.
There's like a line in that song where the teacher's like, hey, you're going to repeat right after me. And then it's kind of 2 beats instead of 4 beats that you need to be listening to repeat back. So it is kind of a learn as you go thing, like learn by failure, which I think is interesting. But I what I think is cool is I think there's a concept here that's worth exploring, in that after you beat them all, the one time it wants you to go back and get cool mode by freestyling.
Right.
And I think there's something really neat to a rhythm game about, hey, these are the buttons you need to hit, but as long as you're hitting them on the beat, you can play whatever rhythm you want and then introduce your own button presses as long as it's buttons that are in the phrase. That's super cool. And like I could see a modern Parappa that doesn't kind of play really badly being a really cool concept to revisit, because other rhythm games don't really do that. So I'd like to see this come back, and I like the concept, but I was only able to get cool mode on one level because it's so like arbitrary how you trigger that. It's like some people on Reddit are like, oh, just button mash like crazy and you'll get it. And some people are like, you need to hit square 8 times in this bar. It's just super all
Logan,
over the place.
that reminds me of in Ocarina of Time, where you can just take out the ocarina and play whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they gave you the pitch bending in that mode and stuff like that. Like they actually can mess with it. And I think you can use the D-pad in Parappa to kind of change stuff. And I don't really, the cool mode thing is, if this game worked, it would be a cool mode, but it is.
Yes.
I do like the state of the level being affected by your meter in the game. I think that's really fun and exciting.
Did you check the toilets on the left? Did you check the toilets on the left? Okay, you win.
And again, the best thing this game has going for it is its beautiful and weird, kind of upsetting art by
It is upsetting.
Rodney Greenblatt is his name. I really like that art style combined with Masaya Matsuya's music. I think it's really fun, and it's like it's a peanut butter and jelly style situation that all works for me. But all that said, the one thing that is nightmare fuel for me in this game is Parappa's dad. His dad is so scary to me.
He's gonna bite him?
Yeah, he's so.
My dad's gonna bite me.
He's so visually different from everyone else in the game. It's like he came from the evil dude in Roger Rabbit's
Did you see that like some of the designs like were pre-existing and then some were made for the game? So it's like that's why they really don't match up. And then there's the 3D elements in the cutscenes, which were like really futuristic and cool at the time, right? And then there's the 2D elements, but this game really did like the Paper Mario thing where they really mashed them together. and it looks like an adult. It's like an Adult Swim cartoon before Adult Swim.
Totally.
Yeah.
You know, it's like this like adult psychedelic like weird experience where like you're gonna get more, you know, being like a college stoner than like a kid playing it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very strange.
I'm surprised PlayStation or Sony overall was okay with this game releasing on PlayStation, though, just given the fact that there was this mandate to
For
avoid
3D.
2D games. Yeah. So I guess they got around because the cake is in 3D and some stuff is in 3D.
Parappa's car goes off the thing in the distance and then
I
comes
think
back.
it was
at you.
also still early days for PlayStation, and I think they just wanted as many exclusives as they could get, right? Because they're both
Well,
Nintendo
wasn't
and
this
Sega were
developed
well
internally?
entrenched. It was by On-Sha, which they don't think PlayStation ever owned them. But
They were not
PlayStation
published
did publish it.
Yeah, they did publish it, and they also got support from Japan Studio. Now,
Yeah, I think
RIP.
there was. That's what I remember reading is that there was some actual Japan studio involvement. You know, like what Parappa was like. We're talking about this like it's some janky indie game that nobody cares about, but it was like a lead PlayStation.
It's like a mascot.
and
Yeah,
character.
yeah.
And like it was on every demo disc, so everybody played this game. There was probably like what would you say, like 20 million people at least played it in America just because of the demo disc.
Yeah, probably.
And arguably one of the finest levels, first introductions to a brand new IP / mascot is the Chop Chop Onion stage. I think it's
and that's a
very
good design. I
straightforward.
like Chop Chop. The Onion Man is a good design, but I think Parappa's a great design.
Oh, he's so
I think it's
cute.
the cutest dog, and I think his voice is really good. And boy, the voice acting in the game leaves a lot to be desired. Is there a Japanese version of it? All in Japanese?
I mean,
I've never heard
I
it.
have to look it up.
Actually.
I have to look it up, but yeah.
Because like the English is like weird, and I don't know, Logan, did you notice that they censor it in
Yeah,
this
but and I
when they're
don't
in
know
the fast food restaurant?
Yeah, but I don't know
Yeah.
why. I don't, like,
I think they're saying Coca-Cola.
they censored Coke.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because they're just
That makes
they're
sense.
censoring their drink orders.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
They're censoring the brand names. You're saying.
Yeah, because they're like, I want
Yeah.
a Coke and a burger. And then the next guy is like, I want all the cookies and a Coke. And then the next person's like, I want a ginger soda. And then when they say ginger
And then
soda,
Parappa's like, I want water.
Yeah, and then Parappa says, I want water.
Why is his stomach hurt if he just had water? I don't understand. None of the lore makes
Dude.
sense.
Starving, man.
No.
That part is brutal. I feel so bad for him on his date, man. It's just the worst.
So
But
yeah,
she only likes him because he's grimacing. Looking
because he's
manly.
looking tough. Yeah. So this is the story. I thought this would be a good exercise. This is the story of Parappa the Rapper. Parappa is a dog who hangs out with his animal friends, and he has a crush on a flower. He wants to win her affections, so he learns how to be a hero, and then he learns how to drive. But then he crashes his car and has to get a new car, and then he has to get a cake for Sunny, and then he takes Sunny on a picnic, and then he has to go to the bathroom, and then he performs a show on stage, and that's it.
At the
that's
school,
the story
at the
of
school
Parappa the
prom
Rapper.
or whatever.
And there's a through line of an antagonist that's a superhero,
Yeah.
and then also a lecturer, and and is rich. So he has a really long car, and he has a really long cake, and I'm realizing now that's all a metaphor.
That's
He
the.
speaks
I mean,
for a long time,
Yeah.
he's the original Chad.
Yeah, he's a Chad, definitely Chad.
Yeah.
and voice
Joe
is that his
Chin.
name?
voice terribly. Like one of the worst, like most neutral voices in it. It's almost Twin Peaks level of like delivery, where it's like it's off the other side where they're like, "Keep it, that's weird," you know.
Yeah, but like you're
And
saying,
I actually like that. Like, it's so weird and bizarre, and it just like I missed games coming from Sony like this. They just
Yeah.
really don't
Yes.
do stuff like this
Yes.
anymore, and it's sad.
yeah.
What were you gonna say, Damon?
You mentioned that Parappa is really likable, and his voice actor is great. Even Next Generation magazine was saying at the time that it was refreshingly optimistic. You know, and it had the message. The message at is believing in yourself, right?
Just gotta believe.
Yeah, you got to believe in yourself.
Yeah.
And then
nice.
that bathroom door will open eventually.
I was a little bit eyebrow raised though when he crashes the car with all of his friends inside. I was like,
Oh yeah, just for daydreaming.
Parappa, you just killed 4 children, and he's like,
Hey, it's cartoon rules. It's fine.
Parappa,
And
do
all
you
the
have
doors
anything-
are just hanging out. Everything's just on the floor. That's how they
in front of the jury, he's just like, I gotta believe, Your Honor.
I gotta believe.
Yeah,
I gotta believe.
the songs are totally good, totally catchy. They're fun, goofy rap songs. Sonically, I think it's in the same wheelhouse as Beastie Boys and Tribe Called Quest and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
it's really clever the way they chopped up Parappa's vocals individually into individual words and syllables, and that's what you're triggering. It's just like sample chopping in hip hop production, which I have done, but I wasn't doing in 1996. So it's very cool, very clever.
Well,
And the positivity and the flower and everything reminds me of De La Soul, right?
Yeah,
Like I think it has a lot of
that too.
DNA in it.
Yeah, that too. Also,
reading a little bit about Matsuya's like kind of perspective in what he wanted to cover instead of like mixing music and stuff. To him, the most interesting thing about rap was its sampling culture. And so that was a thing he really wanted to focus the game around. And one thing I really do like about this game, and Sam called it out earlier, is how the game wants to teach you to feel the rhythm as opposed to learn the button prompts. When you hit the sample at the correct moment, Parappa sounds like the line that came correctly, that came before. But if he does it incorrectly, he sounds unsure of himself, or it sounds like cut off a little bit. And I really, really like that.
Smart stuff.
Some levels, though, even if he sounds correct, it still doesn't give you any points. I'm like, what did I do wrong? I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Ribbit, I can't hold it. Last time you fill me up, me already sold it. In the rain or in the snow, I got the funky flow, but now I really got to go.
In the rain or in the snow, you got the funky flow, but now you really got it up.
There's one thing that we all have the advantage of is we've been holding the PlayStation controller for 30 years now.
Yeah.
And we know really, I think this group knows really well triangle, square, circle, X. I remember at the time being like, this is so stupid. Why didn't they just do A, B, X, Y like Nintendo? We've been playing Nintendo games for 10 years or something by that point. Yeah. And it would just piss me off. And then like now I used to think of it as like a total like cheap knockoff controller even. But now that helped that I know the controller.
Yeah.
I also, to talk a little bit about just the UI elements of the game, I really like its overall presentation apart from the art style and art direction. I like how everything is kind of a miniature 4:3 aspect ratio inside, like you're watching a movie alongside Parappa.
Was that original? I thought that might have been framing it because of my.
That was in the original PlayStation 1 hardware as well. I like that, and I like how the save and load elements of the game are like on a tape deck and stuff like that, and that you are given the option of just using cute symbols when you're typing in your name. Like more games need to just bring that back of like you can put a funny little symbol in your name when you're typing.
They took that out of the PSP game.
Oh yeah, you got like a cute little half moon and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just really charming overall, and it really, again, if you were a kid back then, you probably got this game and this was the only game you were going to get for a while. So you really learned to savor everything the game had to offer and, play through one, as Logan described. You learn the songs, and then when you go back through and play through and earn cool status on each one, it's fun seeing the levels evolve and change based on hitting that cool status. The Master Chop Onion, whatever his name is, the dojo roof flies off, and Parappa takes the center stage, and you get to freestyle. So all that stuff's just so
he
exciting
becomes the
and
moon.
So cool. Yeah, it's very weird, but it's very cool.
It's also a score-based game, so like at its heart, it has more DNA from an arcade game than it does from a home game. And you have to like think that was a lot more common then. Like people had the context of games that you would play just to get better at them or just to get the score. Like a top-down or side-scrolling shooters that we all played, like those usually were 20 minutes long, and sometimes they were hard to get through, unlike Parappa. But like you play them for the score, and like I think that this game was meant to be that, which is fine.
That's interesting that you mentioned that, Sam, because rhythm games would go on to flourish in arcades first before Guitar Hero. There'd be like
mainly in Japan,
Bimini and Dance Dance Revolution, that sort of thing. Maybe those developers looked at Parappa and that's like, well, we should make our own arcade games.
I meant to look up if Parappa ever had an arcade iteration.
Not that I'm aware of.
Not from what I saw looking at the Wikipedia entry of Parappa. But one thing I did also think was wild that I never knew before is when you finish the game, it teases Parappa 2 that hey, there's another game coming out, by the way. Enjoy. I was like, oh.
But where does it say
random.
that?
It says that right.
I rolled credits.
Yeah, it says that right at the end when he's like flying away and he's like pointing towards the screen. It says like Parappa the Rapper 2. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but they would do Jammer Lemmy first, and then they would do Parappa 2, but several years later, right? It was a PlayStation 2 game, I think.
Sounds right.
Yeah, anyway.
It is. Yeah, Jammer Lemmy's PlayStation 1, and it has a great heavy metal song in it.
Yep, it really does.
I mean, it works the way a modern rhythm game, like the way you assume a rhythm game would work.
They learned.
And like Guitar Hero 1 was shortly after this all went down.
Yeah,
Like that was
yeah.
PS2, right? So-
Well, 2004, I probably want to say. So,
And then you got Guitaru Man after,
Yeah.
but that's a different
Guitaru
developer.
Man,
but I
that's
do
right.
like me some
that's Konami,
Guitar
right?
Man. Yeah, Guitar Man rules.
Okay, so there's a lot we like about Parappa the Rapper, but is it still fun today? Logan, what say you?
I'm gonna say it's still fun to look at and listen to today, but not fun to play.
Yeah. Sam, what do you think?
Yeah, it's funny and a great museum piece, and everybody should just, maybe even watch videos. But unfortunately, playing it makes it worse than watching it and listening to it.
Yeah, Nick said you like everything about it but playing it.
Correct. I got back from my vacation. I was like, I'm going to unwind after unpacking by playing some Parappa the Rapper. And then I was just standing in front of my TV, connecting my cable to my controller, screaming, "You just worked one level ago. What happened?"
Yeah, it only has two speeds. It's either easy breezy and fun, or it's just absolutely maddening because the game that you've been playing so far, it just stopped working the way, and it expects you to do something completely different that you can't figure it out. And on that fifth song, you just have to do it 100 times, and eventually you'll pass it, but you don't really know why. It just happened to work that time.
I gotta believe.
Yeah, that's it. Just gotta believe.
Wow. I need to become a hero too. But how could I possibly do that? Yeah, I know. I gotta believe.
I don't know. Games are a mix of many different art forms. So if you're the type of gamer that can get a lot out of a game from its sound and its art style and its vibes,
Yes.
then it's probably worth spending 20 minutes with.
I will say that like the concept of fun is Parappa. Like it is like everything about it was meant to be like fun and lighthearted and just like what just happened, like put a smile on your face. So in that sense, it's still fun.
Yeah.
But it's not fun to play.
Perfect Let's Play to throw up on TV while you're having dinner.
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
I saw a Let's Play where the person doing the Let's Play couldn't even do it. Like they uploaded this to YouTube and they were just failing left and right.
Yeah, it does make me want to go to Japan and go to old record shops and try to find like a soundtrack CD or something.
Yeah,
That'd be really cool to
the
have
soundtrack
for it.
is, it's actually legitimately good and surprising. All right, so a little bit harder to recommend than our previous episodes, which we've done on Ocarina of Time and the original Resident Evil. You should definitely check those out if you haven't seen them yet. What game should we revisit next for Is It Still Fun Today? Let us know in the comments. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Logan. My name is Damon.
you.
We will see you on the next one.
Oh no. I can't believe it. My dad's gonna bite me.